Okay, welcome back to my channel, Cancer. This is just a quick read for you. This is actually for the month of September. Again, it's not going to resonate for all of you. It will be something that kind of plays out over the course of probably months for some of you. Emotions and those kinds of things I don't feel are all sort of dealt with in a day unless you're a very dramatic person and just ride a roller coaster. But nonetheless, we all ride that roller coaster. But I would say that at this point, you are kind of upscaling your life in a lot of different ways. You're still in that period of mulling over some stuff here. You're dealing with the subconscious, you're dealing with the fears, but right now I feel like you're in a stage of planning. So currently you're in that energy of being a little bit restless. So starting off with the main card here, and again, this is the Angel Wisdom Tarot card, Radley Valentine, but I do feel like you're in this energy of really wanting to take things off, because the fire energy is really, moving ahead on in a particular area of your life. So there's a lot of focus that seems to be in around, giving, receiving, or thinking about what you can do to sort of satisfy yourself, and, seeking things that would help you to feel like you're rewarding yourself in some way. So whether this is you, it's kind of you heading into the next phase of your life, basically, because with the card, it does indicate that there is an opportunity that's just around the corner. It's just in behind here that you may not be aware of, but there's something here about an investment in yourself. Whether this is education or otherwise, we'll find out here, but it does indicate some kind of long-term plan that you're trying to make successful for yourself. So this is not quick energy in that sense. It is quick. It's what you're doing is you're really in that space of it's almost like you've created, because there's abundance from past choices, you've got some kind of gain that you're now trying to work that into your future plan here. So deciding what is your next step. So it's more of a broader picture, but again, there's an opportunity that's just in behind here that you're not quite through yet, but it is still a card of success. So whatever it is you're choosing to do is going to work out here. The only thing is you are currently in a stage of transformation, and in September, it is a huge transformation. This is the main energy out. And I want to tell you that not only is the transformation card here, but again, even off to the side, we also have the moon energy. So the moon card is also that card of facing fears, going through the depths of, the things that kind of threw us off balance, and is trying to figure out who we are again, and what it is that we want. It's all that kind of energy, asking the right questions, realizing that you've gone through an awful lot to get to this point. So it's also a card of, yes, you've ridden the roller coaster, but those challenges that you've confronted have actually made you stronger. So again, it's almost like you're bringing yourself to this place of liberating yourself because of a spiritual awakening. So you're now on the edge of some kind of truth. It's a wake-up call, and it's almost like you're now in that space of, I need to really start, focusing on something of, something that's going to be a long-term plan for myself. I really need to start looking at how I can, build up my future and that kind of thing, because these are, again, this is a big card. It's a big event in your life, but it's moving you toward greater happiness. So it is a significant life experience, as the card depicts here, that requires changes to be made, and they're powerful revelations and things that you're breaking through. So you're releasing old belief systems. So, and again, in releasing old belief systems, it means that you can't really, see things in the same way, really. So you're not seeing people in the same way. You almost have an understanding of why, people have treated or acted around you a certain way. You start to come to a realization around those things. But because all these cards are positive, I feel like you're in a space of really grasping, because you're listening to your intuition. You're really figuring out who you are, and how the greater world is. It's not the world is imperfect. People are imperfect, but everybody does the best they can with the tools that they have or the knowledge that they have at that time. So again, I feel like it's not a blame game. You're now in a space of trying to, if you understand yourself, you know that you can understand other people better. So it's a card of, don't worry, you're making the necessary changes to your feelings. And so it's not about feeling right or wrong. It's really trying to work through those fears so that you don't allow your emotions to take over and tempt you in other directions. So this is about being confident with your gifts and knowing who you are, and starting to really get signs that you're waking up, and they're a lot more powerful. These are, cards that let you know that you know, you've got half of the light with the moon here. So it means that you've gone through quite a bit, and you're really someone who has a lot of depth. But this is also where you're not allowing your fear to take over, because the transformation card is the judgment card, basically. So it's like you've paid attention to what your intuition is telling you, and you're no longer afraid because you've gone through so much. So it's not a matter of it's working through the fears, and it's executing with a plan. So you're not just jumping in and doing high risk moves. You're actually planning something and trying to plan out the A, B, and C of a situation. So you are in that space of, if plan A fails, my plan B is to do this, my plan C is to this. It's like looking at a plan over the course of, what is my plan for the next 3 months? What is my plan for the next year? What is my 2-year plan? What is my 3-year plan? What is my 5-year? Most people kind of do the 1-year, 5-year, 10-year plan, but there's also all these micro steps which kind of help us to get to where we want to go. So what you do is you're basically choosing your goal, and then you're breaking it down and reverse engineering it. So choosing the goal and then looking at all the things that will bring you to that spot. So it doesn't matter if you fail, because the point is you if you want it, you just get right back up and you keep going. It's not a matter of, oh, I failed. No, you failed to achieve it in the way that you were trying to do it. But once you've already learned a lot of information, it's that much easier the second time or the third time. But again, the whole point is it's like driving. If you wanted to drive, you're not going to fail once, twice, 3 times and then say, oh, I'm going to give up driving. If you want to drive, you're going to drive. You're going to figure it out. So it's that kind of thing. So I feel like there's a lot of hidden information now that might be coming through in dreams as well, but it feels like you're coming out of that sleepy state. Because again, Knight of Earth, this I feel is your energy, and I don't know why I see that all the time as that coming up, but Knight of Earth is definitely practical matters, somebody who moves slowly, methodically, doesn't overreact. This is somebody who makes changes in a really well thought out way. It's a very, step-by-step process to ensure the success of something. So, this is a very loyal, dedicated person, and I feel, again, that's your energy here, but it's wait for the perfect timing is what the card indicates. So you're being watched over by someone as well. And not only just does it indicate with this card, but it's also the Temperance card that came out here. So I feel like you're being watched over. There's a guardian over you. Doesn't mean that nothing can happen to you. It means that you're protected from significant harm, but it's not to say there won't be some harm. It's how you choose to, enact your steps. So, but you will still have a positive outcome despite some setbacks, is what I feel that protective layer means. Doesn't mean untouchable. It means protective layer insulates you from too much harm, but it also redirects you. There's got to be enough pain for you to redirect into, a space of more practical and more movement forward. So if that makes any sense. But either way, I feel like this is that energy of, kind, trustworthy person here. There's also something here about physical fitness and also doing something around nature and animals. So the card does speak to, the card does sort of speak to, again, still making the plans, but it's almost like you could get out more as far as nature and those kinds of things. So there's also something here in around childhood. So there's a lot of nostalgia, there's a lot of childhood, a lot of reminiscing, a lot of things that you're thinking about from the past. Could be childhood friends or people or something that's also coming through here. There might be a bit of a confrontation or something here with someone from the past. But again, the angelic angel in behind here is really standing out for me. So I feel like there is a real strong energy of you are for sure romanticizing things about how things used to be and everything, being so great. Maybe it wasn't so great if there's been all these changes, but it's how you choose to remember it, which is still fine. But the whole idea is to, what's your next step? How do you keep going forward with the positive aspects of that time frame? How you still have all these cups out here. So 6 is always a card of balance as well. So how do you keep moving forward so things are in that space of making it a strength rather than a weakness? So despite any changes that occurred there, you want to take the best of it to, give you the motivation to move forward. So again, that's the 6 of Waters, and it's also about reunions. So it could be a reunion with something here, or communication that's coming in pretty quickly here in around a scenario of friendship or romance or something that stirs memories from the past. But either way, there is some kind of a connection, and that is, again, it could be a little bit of an awkward connection with a little bit of a feisty sort of quality to it, because the Seven of Fire does sort of speak to a little bit of communication where it's a bit challenging in some way, but it's still, you know, you can say no to a situation, is really because you're reaffirming yourself. Like, this is what I believe. These are my boundaries. You know, that's what that card speaks to. It's not an all-out argument. I don't see the swords energy here. It just feels like there's a little bit of a challenge in a situation. But I feel like you're very courageous in this situation. Again, there's something coming through about physical fitness here as well. So maybe it's physical fitness with a friend or something here too. Okay, so we're getting out to the last cards here. So we are also into the energy of Knight of Fire. So you really want to take action around something. You really want to move something ahead. Knights are all about, you know, could be about somebody wanting to save the day, that kind of thing, where there's a romantic quality. For some of you, this could be a love interest that's coming in here, or somebody from the past where there's been a lot of passion, where there could be a bit of a challenge, but either way, it's like you're putting up some boundaries around it, if it is. But I still feel like this is that sensuous card. It's somebody who's very passionate and really, you know, wants to go forward in a confident way, a lot of enthusiasm, you know, wanting to get going, and it's almost exhausting. And it's also a card of restlessness. So I feel like you want to, you're in a space of being restless. You feel like you're kind of stuck in some way. Again, she's kind of in this wheelchair bound mode. So it's almost like you feel a little bit stuck, but something good is coming back to you. And not only is it the unexpected inflow of abundance, but it's, again, so it's definitely around your financial front for sure. That I feel is quite secure here. But there's also some sense of giving back. So whether people are giving back to you in some way, as far as whether it's a love interest or whether this is something in around friends, family, there's just more of a giving nature in the month of September. I do feel like there is a sense of, again, a little bit of that restless energy there, but it still feels like there is just a little bit more around balancing out the giving and the receiving, and it certainly does speak to more positive energy here. There's more generosity. There's more unexpectedness as far as blessings coming in around your physical world. So again, could be around you know, literal health and all of that too, but just seems like there's more give and take in a situation in the month of September. So it could be, again, in around a romance or in around things that you want to move ahead in terms of finances. You're starting to see that there's a little more flow there. We also have the card of the King of Fire. So again, lots of fire energy here. So it's like I feel like you're going from a restless energy into starting to make some, you know, dramatic, more moves in this period, because the kings are all about being in a place of authority. So you could be dealing with somebody who is in more of an authority, you know, has more authority in a particular situation, but this is somebody who says, follow me. So again, I feel like you're listening to this, and I feel like you're in that space of, to the negative, this particular card, I mean, this is somebody who's very motivational and ambitious, and somebody who can draw attention to themselves, so communicating with a vision. So this is somebody who has an idea of where they're going, what they want. They're not especially sensitive to criticism, but I feel like this is also, don't be, as it says, don't be sensitive to criticism, because this is more about sharing that spotlight, you know, learning to stop pacing and that kind of thing, and actually sit down and figure out the rules to something and how to move within those rules. Because this card, as I say, is somebody that you could be around that's very, you know, motivational, inspirational, dramatic, maybe in the way they communicate, but they're also very fair and honest, and some could be very quite respected, that kind of thing, because it is a king. But there's also, to the, you know, to the detriment, it could also be that you know, the person's moving around too much. There's, you know, not a lot of stability there. But I don't feel that's your case. I feel like that's them, this is you. You're more stable. In terms of, it's followed up by the Nine of Swords, or sorry, Nine of Fire. And again, there's so much of that fire energy here. So it feels like you're on some kind of a journey where you need to be prepared for what lies ahead. I feel like your immunity is getting stronger here, but I also feel like you have to protect what you've created. So if there's a lot of finances or a lot of a vision here that you're trying to build, protect it. It's not something that you want to give up, and it's something that you have to kind of, you know, live by your conviction. So again, when you want to learn to drive, if you fail 3 or 4 times, you're not going to say, oh, I'm just going to take the bus, or I'm just going to, and there's nothing wrong with taking the bus. What I'm saying is, if your goal is to drive, then you will find a way to drive. No matter how many times it takes, you get back up, and there's more information every time, so it comes faster and faster. So either way, I feel like you could be dealing with somebody who is you know, an authority figure. The card of the sun. Now, again, this could be a child energy, but it is also a card of being very optimistic around a situation. So the card of the sun definitely speaks to joy, success, more happiness coming in for you. Not the main energy out. It is further out, certainly, because this is just the clarifiers, but it does indicate that there is going to be something here that kind of speaks to you need to be prepared and never to give up. You need to persevere, because the energy here speaks to, you know, everything being quite positive. Have faith in what the universe is bringing you. There is going to be more opportunity up ahead. Your plans are working out perfectly. So just know that, you know, even if there's a setback, it doesn't matter, because the whole point is your plan will eventually succeed, because it was meant to succeed. But you needed to learn some lessons to tweak that to get to it, because the universe isn't just going to open up everything and just say, just grab it. It's you know, you have to earn it. So that means if you needed to learn patience, you're going to be given some things that get in your way so that you can learn the patience. But either way, we are moving on to the 8 of water. So this emotionally is where you are in a space, you know, where you have to be a little bit more optimistic, because I feel like you're kind of in that space of ruminating too much. The 8s are all about kind of, you know, it's a card of leaving a painful situation, so that you have more, feeling a little bit of emotional burnout, but it's also spiritual growth. Final card out is balance, and this is definitely where you're headed. So you're getting, this is protection, this is balance, this is definitely speaking to everything sort of finding its way, aha moments, epiphanies, all of that. Everything good about, you know, being moderate at this time is what that card speaks to. So that's what I have for you, Cancer. Keep moving forward, and we'll do some other reads here for you in the near coming weeks.